Most people do not have sustainable power. And that in itself can be a problem. And that is why we see, people struggling with power, with discipline, with inability to have clear boundaries. And that is mostly due to the lack of sustainability, right? So, which means even though they activate the power flame within their hearts, they're not able to hold the power for long periods of time because most people are not made in a way where they are able to have sustainable power energy. So, not everyone is meant to be able to hold that. And yes, power should be available to us as and when we need it, to give us the push, the driving force, the discipline, the ability to cultivate clear boundaries, strong boundaries with our environment, with other people, and so on. But for long term sustainability, most people are not able to do it. All right. And by nature of our energy system and our energy field, we're made this way, and minority of people are able to hold the sustainable power for a reason. Because if everybody has that, then we're just going to completely destroy each other, right? Because with the lack of wisdom, lack of love, and if we use power wrongly, we're just going to destroy each other. That's how it is. And so, because of that, at this point in time in humanity's history, most people do not have sustainable power. And perhaps in future generations, maybe one or two or three generations down the road, then we will have people born into this world with an ability to sustain that power for long periods of time or to have that power constantly. And at the moment, we're not quite ready, right? So then this also means that not everyone is built to have leadership over large numbers of people, right? Not everyone is able to have that sustainable power to hold that position. And not everyone is supposed to be a leader, right? Leader of other people. However, what makes us really, really unique as a race, in that sense, human race, is that if we are able to cultivate our power on a personal level, and if we're able to cultivate self-leadership, and if we allow that self-leadership to come through successfully time and time again, we use the self-leadership effectively, what we do is we create channels for ourselves to exercise power to certain groups of people that we can serve so that we can lead, smaller armies of people as opposed to large armies of people, right? And that leadership helps us also to really, serve a higher purpose. And so, in that sense, power is not made equal. We're not made equal in terms of our ability to exercise power, to hold power, to sustain power. And while we may admire people who seem very powerful, who seem to have that sort of, that power within their aura, it's not something that we can imitate, or it's not something that we can, train ourselves to have. Right? I know this goes against many things that we may have learned on the path of spirituality, on the path of personal development, right? People pay thousands of dollars to go for seminars and workshops to cultivate this kind of power. You may be spending a lot of money, but if your energy system does not allow you to have that sustainable force, you will not be able to hold it. So we have to, in order to cultivate greater leadership over ourselves, we have to accept this fact that we may not necessarily have it, right? So charismatic personality that may or may not be used for the good. Yeah, something like that. right? To have charisma, which is a bit different from the power bit, but it's true. You can, not everyone has charisma. Even though you may not have charisma in the way that the general population will deem as charismatic, you may be charismatic to another group of people, not necessarily mass scale, right? And so it's how we use that energy. So same with power. So because not everyone, is built the same way in terms of how we use power, then we really need to find within ourselves, what is the thing that we can do within ourselves, within our own lives, that we are able to hold or exercise power or leadership in our own lives in a way that has worked out very well. So in that sense, we need to do our homework, right? To do a little bit of contemplation and journaling and ask ourselves throughout our lives, what is the one thing that we have been able to achieve in terms of utilization of power, in terms of utilization of self-leadership.